Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today we are talking about a new book. It just came out. So on Amazon it says it was released on like January 8th of 22, but the books on the inside copyright says 2021. So I don't know exactly when this came out, but like recently. And so today we are talking about the new book from Stephanie Woodfield. This is Dedicant Devotee and Priest. And just spoiler alert, everyone should buy this book. So I get this question asked pretty regularly, whether it's to me when I had a lot more interaction from you guys, or when I am on like any of the witchy community, whether it's various Facebook groups, Instagram posts, YouTube videos. I mean, since I have been a witch for the past 12 years, this is a topic that will come up often enough that when it comes up again, I can just be like, this book, just read it, because it really covers the information so well. And that question you might be asking is all about working with the divine. And while it doesn't necessarily cover, well, it kind of does though. Basically, when you've gotten past like what your view is on the divine and the gods and things like that, and you want to move into like, how do you work with them? How do you honor them? You know, how do you become a priestess of such and such deity? You know, what do I need to do to be in service to them, etc. and so forth. This is the book. If you want to take, you know, that relationship with a god to the next level, opposed to just like casually just calling upon them a little bit here and there during ritual, but you want to like establish that as a major part of your practice, this is the book. If you want to do more deity work, you need to read this book. It is so well written. I love the writing style. She is such a fantastic writer, and the information is really potent and really powerful, and I think everyone should just pick up this book. So it's divided into 3 sections. The first section is just kind of taking that casual relationship to the next level, and she does talk about how in paganism we do start to get this kind of like a checklist of like, you need to level up, you need to do these things, and of course it feels like your, you know, major thing you're working towards is becoming a priest or a priestess of whatever. And in some traditions, yeah, that's your ultimate goal, but for most of us, we don't necessarily need to do that, and we might not realize what that all entails. So section 1 talks about being a dedicant and kind of elaborates on that level of a relationship. And then section 2 is a devotee and how it kind of is increasing from the previous, but it also just has a different dynamic with the gods. And then the last section is priest or priestess, and talks about, you know, that's kind of like the final thing that everyone wants to do, but in reality, the other 2 are perfectly fine options as your final goal, and that a lot of people don't realize what being a priest or a priestess is going to actually look like and really entail, because of course we would love to imagine that, you know, being the priest or the priestess, you get to walk in and have, you know, this beautiful ritual and all of these things, but you don't realize that like you're also the one like dealing with vendors, and like if the bathroom gets messed up at your venue, you're the one dealing with it, and you're doing the cleanup afterwards, and you know, when things go wrong, like you got to deal with it. There's a lot more pressure, and plus you are mainly, as a priest or a priestess, you're serving your community, not necessarily just the gods, and that can be very overwhelming for people. Like for me, absolute nightmare. Like, don't get me wrong, I love talking to you guys here, but like I have a very small and limited social battery, and so having to deal with mass amounts of crowds for extended periods of time and being the one in charge, that is a panic attack waiting to happen. And so for me, like I had for the longest time felt like everyone else that she talked about, don't mind my dog in the background, she's getting water. I had also felt like, yes, that is the next logical step of my craft, is that now I need to become a priestess of the more again, because that's what you do, that's what you become, that's what you're supposed to do. And now I'm way more like Dedicant Devotee levels of like, yeah, that's more my speed, because like, yes, I want to help the community, but not to that level, and it is definitely a huge jump. And I love that she talks about that, and just overall the information of how to connect and all of the questions that come up. It's just so well written. If you seriously work with any deities and you just do anything really with the gods, honestly, I recommend this book. Even if you are like a beginner and you're just starting to work into deities and things like that, like, you need to get this book. It is so good and so well written. I mean, seriously, such a good book. She's fantastic. I have a couple of her other ones. I think I'm only missing one of her books, which is on my list to buy. But she's a fantastic writer, and it's a smaller book, which means, I mean, it only took me a few hours to read. Granted, I read through the past like 3 books, I think, all in one day. Well, one weekend, because I was sick. So when I got my booster, I just accept my fate, and I know that I'm gonna be sick for a while. And so I was laid up in bed and just feeling miserable because my arm was killing and my joints were hurting, and I just felt miserable and no energy. So I was like, I'm gonna read. So it was a quick read, to be honest, but it was a really good one. And I hope this book gives you some insights if you are starting to consider kind of what your relationship with whatever deities you work with is going to look like. Again, I really recommend this book. And if you've read it, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. So that is going to be it for this video. I hope this has been helpful for you guys. I would love to hear your thoughts on this book down below. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all soon.